Hi guys. I just finished watching the series Lucifer today, and I was here thinking about the last episode, how it ended. This is an obvious video with how do you say it? With spoilers. So a spoiler alert, going to comment specifically starting from the end. I liked the ending. I liked how this classical Catholic version of Lucifer started as he would be nowadays if he was uh, tired of being the ruler of hell and wanted a break and wanted to enjoy Los Angeles. And then he lived very loosely the way he wanted, and he met this detective. But I think what really made this serious was the therapist. I was really impressed by this character, the therapist. This series really caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting such an insightful series. It was very rich, and and I liked how it ended, how it had to end like that, how he found out he had this daughter. She came from the future. She told what she thought was, she filled the gaps. She filled the information the parents wouldn't give her. The father she never met, and the mother that would always protect this figure of the father, but still the girl grew up very angry, very rebellious. And Lucifer comments on this. He says, uh, like father, like daughter, like where she learned this from, that she learned from him, because he was this rebellious son. And anyway, he had this space. In the end, that's what he understood. He had this space from his dad. That's what he giggled. In the end, he said, "Oh, dad, like now I got it." Like millenniums. Sometimes they say millennium, sometimes they just say 10, 20,000 years because of how the Jewish um, culture accounts for all the existing time of reality, how it all started from God creating the universe in 6 days, resting on the seventh, and after that was reality as we know it. So, as Gotham Chess would say, I digress. So he was rebellious. He didn't like the way things were done in heaven, and he rebelled, much like a young person would. I don't want to live in your house anymore, and then you just uh, go to your to the garage and say, "This is my kingdom now. Nobody can come in," and etc. "I'm going to rebel here." And everybody that wanted to rebel would go along. And father, being very patient and all, said, "Sure, be rebellious, do your thing." And that's the whole arc, actually. He rebelled. He had this space, this time to do the stuff the way he wanted. And he would punish because people wanted to to be punished by what they what they were what they thought were their crimes, like the guilt of doing this and that wrong. And he was more than welcome to punish people that want to be punished. Who better to punish than a person that wants to be punished? And then he started doing it even when he didn't want it anymore. So actually, when he said, "I don't want it anymore," that's the beginning, not yeah, the beginning of the catharsis. He wanted to live life with other people that didn't commit crimes. He was just living the life in Los Angeles. And and was living the life in Los Angeles until he met this detective. And I was reading in IMDb trivia section that it wasn't supposed to be a detective story like Bones and other stories like that of detectives. It was supposed to be like every episode a new thing, just like Lucifer's Luz stories in the Sandman series. But they liked so much the how they all interacted, they wanted to expand on that, which shows how important it is to give everything you've got, as the Stoics would put it, like living the life like it's the the only time, the last time. I remembered another example was, forgot her name. Oh man, forgot her name. Viola Davis, if I'm not mistaken. She was the mother in Doubt, and she received supporting actress that year, the following year, for that 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute scene with a monologue. She gave everything. So the actors in Lucifer also gave everything. Their connection was so good and all that they kept it there. They changed the whole format of the series. So, but it grew. The characters were very good. The whole series was kind of silly. A lot of times they were silly, but the insights for me were the best part. The parts with the therapist were the absolute best. It reminds, every series actually reminds me of In Treatment. It was very good with, forgot his name, David Byrne, that actor from Stigmata. I only know him from that movie and that series. It was a very good series. So when Lucifer was there with the therapist, and I remembered how they interacted, the reflections, not reflections, how do I say it? The good points she would make about the things he needed to think about, and everything, how he changed, how he evolved. He needed to evolve for so the series could go on. obviously people wouldn't evolve at that rate, not because the series need to end, so everything needs to land. This feeling, that comment, this situation, the other. So it was well written enough. Some parts were really, really silly. Some parts were really hard to follow, to hard to stay connected with the show. But overall, it was a good show. I liked how the actor sang. For me, it was always like a little over the top. I don't like it that much, but I liked how well they sang. For me, as an amateur, all I can say is that I liked it, and and the things he got over, the way the characters acted and reacted to things, for me was very rich. I liked how Amenadiel, the older brother, I liked how he had patience. Along with the father, he understood, as an older brother, he understood how to deal with a younger, impulsive brother, how to be a big brother, not not pushing further than this younger brother Lucifer could handle, and he just kept being patient and and waited and gave space. Was very rich. The detective was very, very patient, very loving. This reinforces the romantic idea of love, which is not very helpful in in current relationships or forever relationships. Like every relationship, with romanticism really damaged, really did this big damage on humanity, how we expect of each other to do these romantic acts, these romantic gestures, these romantic expressions of love, this idealized notion of love. But in spite of that, for that I would say I like the demon, Lucifer's friend, right hand. What's her name? Now I can't remember any name. But let me see if I can remember. I liked how flawed she was, how she couldn't accept herself, forgive herself, how Lucifer had to do the same, how he found out, how he solved he solved the situation without even realizing, which shows how it came from the heart, how he saved that black dude that he never remembered the name, but he helped him realize something and he got out of hell. So how did you get out of hell? No, you made me think, you made me realize this and that. How you become responsible for your own actions, how do I say this? How you there's this one word, how you forgot how to say it, but how you act responsible, how you not that. Never mind. Forgot my line of thought. But how you think things through. And that's the point, actually, that's the argument of the show, isn't it? like the Catholic notion of forever hell then suddenly gets reimagined. Heaven being like a corporation, family corporation, that which in which the father retires and to which son goes the or daughter goes the position of God, which is funny, funny because it doesn't make sense at all. Because it gives God human problems. He's tired, he's unmotivated, he misses his wife, these are human qualities. But anyway, how they designed the angels being flawed too. This is very funny because that's not how I learned how angels are. The way I learned, they are better beings. They're not illuminated with powers and stuff just because, but after being good people, being good, like they are so good, so good, so good. They are what we think of people that should go to heaven. Like, wow, this person is the best person, have the best choices, are responsible and kind and this and that. Those people are angel like. It's not because like random. Because I didn't like how many of the angels acted, because they didn't act in angel like. But this this problem comes from the origin. The idea that Lucifer or Samael would be so perfect, so perfect, so perfect, but so perfect, and that doesn't make sense. How a person is so perfect, but so perfect that then they become jealous and think, hey, then I should rule heaven. And that makes no sense. Like, imagine God is 100% and Lucifer would be 98%, 90, even 95 or whatever. He would be so perfect, so like almost godlike. Then that would make him turn, that would make him jealous and this and that. This doesn't fit. This doesn't make sense. It was always like something that non-Catholics would complain about. One of the things that people would complain about that doesn't make sense. Maybe it wasn't translated well or understood well, explained well in the folklore, in the myths of Jewish history writers, the wise guys that wrote the Torah in the beginning, back in the day. So this video won't stick. I will have, don't know who watch. I think nobody will watch this. This will be just for me, because this really, really sucked. I will leave it for one day, maybe two. So in the end, I watched Lucifer series. I liked it because of the I want to say reflections. I always want to say reflections because of the things he learned, about the things, the way Lucifer changed and how he and his friends. Also, then how he dealt with his guilt, how he dealt with his guilt, and was free, was deserving, was light enough in his conscience to go to heaven. Isn't it funny? We always think like someone's gonna grab us and take us here or take us there. In the end, it's not someone that takes us, but we take ourselves to heaven or to hell. We are the ones that choose, as Lucifer would in the last episode, in the last scene, joke about how he said fate or free will. Which one is the is the real thing? Do we choose stuff, or is stuff just bound to be, and we have the illusion of choice? I really, really liked the way it ended, because it gives a second it gives people who think in this Catholic way, in this Jewish way, maybe Jewish, this Jewish way, gives them an alternative on what else to consider. If you don't like the version that you had so far, you should consider Lucifer's line of thought, that things are not eternal and bound to be, but they are possibilities. They're a different way of doing, of acting. You just need to expose yourself to new things to be able to discover new things, as Einstein would put it, if I'm not mistaken, that if you do the same thing over and over and expect different results, doesn't make sense. For us to get different results, we need to try different things. That goes to Lucifer in a big way. And this whole idea, this whole concept of then things not being eternal. But then, yes, that's what started. Because I just thought, so it would go the other way too, right? If the person is in heaven and then they are not like not in a heaven-like way, not in a heaven-like high vibration of being, like not thinking highly, not thinking on others and in a bigger way, but just thinking on yourself, then you kind of fall. You're not on that grade anymore. You're lowering yourself, your own energy, your own, and it's not that that way of being is not it's not something for heaven. It's something not in heaven. That would be in purgatory, that people kind of call the earth that, or it could be hell, this space that was invented once the first person rebelled. So I was just thinking, like the first everything, first man, first woman that showed up in the last season. Not sure if Eve was from the last or season 5 or 4, maybe 5. And Adam by the end. And then I remembered the first everything, and then I remembered of Cain and Abel, like the first murderer and the first person being murdered. That's funny, they kind of not followed this Sandman series anymore, because in Sandman series, both of them live in the dream world with the Sandman, and Cain keeps killing Abel over and over again. So that's something to consider. I have a couple of I think, I'm not sure if I only have one, maybe I have 2 Lucifer stories. I have the devil knocks on the door or something. I don't remember the title. The devil at the door and something else. I actually liked a lot the death character. And actually, Sandman series doesn't touch on that, doesn't consider that, doesn't consider as Azrael. How I don't remember her name, the sister, because Sandman considers death the being. So who would have come first, the angel like Lucifer, or the character of dream, as in the character of death, as in dream sister? So that's it for today. Were my thoughts on Lucifer, the series. Really liked it. How right in the end, this is the daughter convinces the father, like, you have to let it roll out, to play out exactly like that. He had to be gone. And the mother couldn't say. That's how she found out why the mother couldn't ever say why the dad was gone. It's because the daughter requested. She herself requested in the end. How the endings, how do you say it? The end just finds the middle. Don't know how to say it in English. So all the actions were justified in the end, and it all made sense. But actually, one thing I couldn't answer, this bothered me, was why Lucifer wasn't there at the end. The mother was dying. Why wasn't the dad back even then? But then I think it kind of makes sense if we considered he left her when he was young, around 40 maybe, and she lived a whole life, just like in Interstellar and other time travel stories, where one person changes the age but not the other. So the daughter, Murph, lived a whole life with. She became a grandma and stuff, and the dad was still the same age, kinda. So it makes sense Lucifer wouldn't go to see her because she lived her Earth life, and they both could be happy ever after because they would live now this spiritual life together. So I think that's it. I have so many opinions. I was thinking, what qualifies Lucifer to be a therapist, holding a group therapy? Did he study? Because he did had a lot of time to do it. But I remembered Dan said he only found one book about birds in America. And I wondered why that book. I'm not sure if it's a hidden joke. Um, but I hope Lucifer studied psychology and stuff. I liked the explanation. He is the perfect person to understand what people go through because he went through everything. He fell like no one other. He fell like he was the one that would look, would understand, would not judge. And isn't that the beginning of healing? How you listen, how you how you ask the other person to be a good person, and you do it in a way that doesn't judge because you know how is to be in that position, how is to do those many mistakes, and how if you could choose, would you want all the consequences of that action? Would you still do it? Would it still be worth it if you knew the end result? And if you would fall, could you rise up again? Do it? Lucifer did. So couldn't we all? Because he wasn't guilty of other people falling, as he himself thought over. He only punished people that were already being punished by themselves. They were just accepting the punishment because they felt they deserved. But then how does this would apply in other cases? I have no idea. Like monsters, like big dictators, um, psychotics, and other like serial killers. How do you say? I think it's psychotics, not psychotic. There's a psychopath. I think hell wouldn't be out of members because some people, but they don't have guilt. They are not. Wouldn't they go to hell? Because if they don't feel guilt, that's something that the series didn't go through because this wasn't the main subject, but still. It's a good series if it still makes you think long after this series is gone. It's done. It's finished. I liked how they verbalized their thoughts, their feelings. We do have lots and lots of difficulties expressing ourselves, our feelings, our deepest fears and judgments. So this kind of show us some way that would be possible. If ever a person would decide to do it, this is one way you could do it. So that's it. I think I'm done for today. Thank you for watching. Bye.